How to garden for beginners. Do you have a green thumb that will grow anything? If not, don't worry. This article is for those who want to learn how to start a garden but are completely lost on where to begin. We'll go over what kind of plants work well in pots and containers as well as the tools you need to get started. So if gardening has been your dream for years or it's something new you're trying out, this article will show you everything there is to know about starting a garden from scratch. Where to buy plants online. There are many places where to source out your plants and seeds. The first place to look is a local nursery or hardware store if you want the best selection. This will give you an idea of what kind of things are available in your area for gardening, but they may be more expensive than ordering online. If you're looking for something specific like a certain type of flower or vegetable, then purchasing it on Green Blooms can be helpful since it has such a vast selection at competitive prices that ships quickly so you don't have to wait very long before seeing your new garden grow. Some other places to buy from include Amazon, eBay, or even Bunning, which offer unique items not found elsewhere. You'll also find some great deals with coupon codes as well when shopping sites like these. What are common tools needed to start a garden for beginners? You may think you're too cool or tough to start gardening. But with the right tools, it's surprisingly easy. First things first, what kind of gardeners are we? If this sounds like your thing and you live in a relatively temperate climate, then go for it. You'll need some basic items such as gloves, for when those pesky rose thorns prickle, trowels, to dig out weeds without disturbing long-time plants, spades, and hose, both handheld and push style, for getting into all that thick mulch at the base of shrubs. Watering cans come in handy if there is no natural water nearby. Just be sure not overdo so they don't become stagnant pools waiting to breed. Finally, gardening tools that make tasks easier, such as pruning shears, a long-handled saw for cutting branches that are beyond reach, and clippers to trim plants. When and where should I plant my flowers or seed packet? It is important to remember where you're planting your flowers or seeds. If you live in the desert, for example, it's best to plant them during late fall so they can make enough roots before winter frost sets in and freezes their growth. If you are planting something that likes a bit of shade, like asparagus, then wait until mid-spring when things have started to green up again in your landscape. The same holds true if your garden has morning sun followed by afternoon shade. Plan accordingly for what will thrive there. You should be aware of weeds. Garden for beginners. If weeds are a problem, you can invest in an organic herbicide to help keep them at bay. You should also remember that when it comes to edibles, some plants will do better with fewer weeds while others need all the competition they can get. You'll want to have a hoe handy for removing any weeds and bare soil from your garden bed. This allows new seeds or transplants room for growth. A large trowel is helpful too, not just if you intend on planting directly into the ground but also for cutting through roots of pesky grasses so as not to transplant those along with your flowers or vegetables. Herbs tips, a garden for beginners hack. Did you know that herbs are not just for cooking? Herbs can be used in all sorts of ways to make gardening easier and more enjoyable. For example, mint is great at deterring pests like ants and mice. And the lemon balm is a calming plant that helps with stress. 1. Know what you want to grow before buying seeds. The first step to getting the perfect garden is knowing what you want. If your goal in gardening this season is a colorful, bountiful harvest of cucumbers and zucchini, then it's time to start thinking about planting. If all you're looking for are tomatoes or beans, on the other hand, good luck digging through piles of seed packets trying to find just one variety that meets those criteria. There must be something more efficient out there. All in all, the choice is yours. 2. Plant in a sunny area, as most herbs need at least 6 hours of sunlight per day. Plant herbs in a sunny area, as they require at least 6 hours of sunlight per day. Most plants need plenty of sun and are best grown in a south or west-facing window, which will provide bright light for many years to come. 3. Choose the right soil, loamy and well-draining, that are best for growing herbs. Soil that is loamy and well-draining should be chosen to grow herbs. This type of soil will provide the perfect environment for your plants, while also making it easier on you as a gardener since they require less maintenance than their counterparts who are grown in more difficult environments like clay or sand. Different types of soils include sandy soil, clay soil, and loam soil. In sandy soils, plants will have difficulty rooting as they do not hold water well or offer any nutrients to the plant. Clay soil holds water very well and is rich in minerals that are healthy for plants, but it also has a tendency to be too dense so air does not circulate properly, which means roots cannot grow deep enough into the ground. Loamy soil offers everything a plant needs, except for salt, along with good drainage properties. One of its major benefits is how easy it is to work with because, unlike clay, you can make adjustments without damaging your hands if the conditions need changing over time. 4. Water your plants regularly. They can't survive without water. You might think your plants are tough, but they actually need a good soaking every couple of days. You'll be surprised how much more lush and green they will become after just one drink. Make sure to water early in the day so that you can avoid any soggy messes later on. 5. Remove flowers from your plants after they bloom so that the plant will continue to produce leaves and new flowers. There are many reasons to remove flowers from your plants after they bloom. The plant will continue to produce leaves and new flowers. It is a natural part of the life cycle for all flowering plants. It also saves you time on watering because not only do wilted petals require more water than green ones, but removing them helps keep dirt away so there's less work in cleaning up afterward. 6. Harvest when necessary by cutting off stems with scissors or using a sharp knife. For a clean and easy harvest, cut off stems with scissors or use a sharp knife. The best time to harvest your herbs is when they are ready. Times vary depending on the herb, but generally, you know it's ripe when there is no more new growth. Lower leaves wither away without turning yellow-brown like other plants might do at this stage of the life cycle, and some flowers may be blooming. Feed your plant food. Garden for beginners. I can't emphasize this enough, it's a lifesaver. Count when it's time to water. Sometimes plants need more than just a good water source and sunlight to stay healthy. This is the most important factor in ensuring your herbs will grow successfully. The soil where you plant them should be full of nutrients, so try adding fertilizers that are high in nitrogen or potting mix containing compost. A good rule of thumb is, if you would not eat it, grass clippings, then don't feed it to your herb either. Types of seed fertilizers are: hydroponic, a nutrient solution is sprayed on the roots of plants every few days. Organic, made from natural ingredients, which include animal manures and composted plant matter. This type may be more difficult to find in garden centers, unless they happen to carry organic seeds. Inorganic, this includes chemical fertilizers that contain nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium. They are often composed of synthetics or minerals mined from the ground and then processed into concentrated forms for use as food by plants. All types can work well if used correctly. The key is staying consistent with what you choose to do so your herbs will thrive and survive over time, not just when you first set them up. Be patient. Growing your own vegetables is rewarding. You've got to love them. When you can proudly take the produce of your labor into a grocery store and pick out whatever recipe suits you, it feels like Christmas morning in September. Growing your own vegetable garden will make any sense for those who enjoy feeling satisfied with their work, especially when they're able to share that hard-earned bounty with friends and family members. How do you start a vegetable in this garden for beginners training from scratch? In order to have a successful vegetable garden, there are many steps that need to be taken. First of all, one needs soil and sun. They should look for the right area before they start planning their garden so it will get enough sunlight during peak hours of the day, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. What month do you plant vegetables? What should I be planting in my garden? We recommend that vegetables be planted in the spring. This is when they are most likely to grow and bear fruit during their seasons, so it's best not to wait too long. Is it cheaper to buy vegetables or grow them? The idea of growing vegetables in your backyard can sound like it would be a cheap and easy option, but those who don't know what they're doing or have the time to invest in their garden might find that there are some hidden costs. Growing veggies at home is an affordable hobby if you do not take many breaks from tending your plants. If done right, gardening requires very little maintenance, which translates to minimal expenses when compared with buying produce weekly. What's the easiest vegetable to grow? A vegetable garden can be a fun and rewarding project. There are many different types of plants that one could plant in their own space, but there is no question about which type would make it easy for you as well. The most common complaint from newbie growers has been how difficult cauliflower has proven to be without help. Luckily, this veggie only requires an inch of water per week, so they will continue growing even if they don't receive any attention at all. Not bad for such a hard to grow food. Are potatoes easy for a beginning gardener to grow? What are some tips? Potatoes are relatively easy for a beginning gardener to grow and there is no extensive knowledge required. They can be planted in most soil types, from sandy loam soils with good drainage or clayey glacial with soils rich in organic matter, but they do need full sun all day, either on the north side of your garden near windows or south facing if you have an open sunny area. Potatoes require little maintenance. Simply mulch around their base after harvesting, provide some water when necessary, especially while they're still growing, if it's been unusually dry, and wash off any dirt clumps once ripe before using. Should I use a greenhouse when gardening for beginners? You could use a greenhouse when gardening for beginners, but it may be more cost-effective to construct a cold frame or use a garden bed. A cold frame is an easy way of extending the season and use of your garden space, which can help you get into harvesting your seeds sooner. A simple and inexpensive type of solar-powered greenhouse that requires no heating or electricity can also be built with recycled materials from old windows and doors. There are also many types of greenhouses available commercially depending on what size you need, how much time you have, and your budget. They range in price from $100 to $25,000 plus. Be sure to consult experts before purchasing. Green Blooms offers a range of quality greenhouses for your projects. Check them out here. What bugs should I be aware of for this garden for beginners tip? Watch out for aphids, whiteflies, and leafhoppers. These pests are attracted to weakened plants that have been over-fertilized or watered too much. Aphids can be controlled with a strong stream of water from the hose. Other tiny bugs will need more thorough treatment. What are some tips when gardening? Plant vegetables at least 3 feet apart so they have enough room to grow without competing for resources like sunlight and water. Use organic mulches such as straw or wood chips because it keeps soil temperatures consistent by moderating extremes between day and nighttime temperatures while also conserving moisture in your garden bed. Conclusion: garden for beginners. So there you have it. Everything you need to get started with a garden, whether for the first time or as an experienced gardener. It's easy and so satisfying if done right. The Green Blooms team is here to help. We'll be happy to answer any questions about our products that may come up during your gardening journey. We hope this post was helpful in getting you on track towards having your own green thumb. Whether starting from scratch or adding new life into an existing garden, remember that each plant has its unique needs and requirements, which are all detailed in depth on our website at www.greenblooms.com.au. And of course, don't forget to like this post and subscribe to our channel for more great content like this.